Imagine fluency like an empty cup. You can only add one drop at a time. At first, nothing seems to happen, but after enough drops, the cup gets full, and only then does the water start to overflow. That's exactly how fluency works. I could understand English well, but when it was time to speak, I forgot the words and couldn't say anything. So I watched every video on YouTube about improving English speaking. I spent weeks, even months, digging into the science behind speaking fluently. And what I found changed everything for me. After watching this video, you won't need to watch another one giving the same old advice, because you'll finally understand the real secret behind fluency. A simple framework. I call it input-driven fluency. What does it mean? Let me break it down for you in just 2 steps. Step 1. Building the foundation with comprehensible input. Comprehensible input simply means this. To learn from any material, you need to understand the main message. You need to fill the cup first with massive amounts of input. You might say, but I already watch lots of YouTube videos and read books and I still can't speak. Or maybe you've heard people say, to speak better, you have to practice more. That's partly true. But if you've tried this for months or even years and it's not working, then it's time to change your approach. Einstein once said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And don't worry, we will come to speaking practice later. Let's now focus on how to build the foundation first in 2 steps. First, consume a lot of comprehensible input. But here's the thing. The content you consume should be easy, just a little bit challenging. If you understand 100% of what you listen to or read, it's too easy. If you understand just 80% of it, no, it's too difficult. You should understand between 95 and 98%. Yes, that still means if a page has 300 words, you might not know 15 words, and that's fine. Your brain will use the 95% that you already know to guess the meaning of the 5% you don't. However, just listening passively is not enough. That's why we need to move to the second step, deep learning and repetition. Our brain is smart. It keeps only what is important for survival. If your brain doesn't see new English words as important, it won't store them in the long-term memory. So we need to tell the brain, hey, this is important. And we can do this through repetition and deep engagement. That's why you need to listen, read, or watch the same content multiple times. Your brain needs to see a word 12 to 15 times before it becomes part of your vocabulary. For some words, it might take even more repetitions. But you might say, repeating the same content over and over is boring. I get it. And the solution is to choose something interesting, something you can really enjoy. Another way to achieve repetition without being bored is to simply consume different resources about the same topic. For example, watch different videos on YouTube about the same idea, or you can read your favorite book before going to bed and listen to its audiobook version the next morning on your way to school or work. So, to build the foundation, consume a lot of comprehensible input and repeat the same content over and over. By doing this, you give your brain time to fill the cup. And now it's time for the next step to make it overflow. Step 2. Speaking practice through imitation. And here I'm not talking about repeating after native speakers using the exact words to improve your pronunciation. I'm talking about something a little bit more advanced. Here's how it works. You listen to a conversation, a story, or a short video on YouTube, and then retell it in your own words. Let's see this technique in action.
I was told that the man I would be meeting with is very careful.
I heard the person I'd be speaking with is very careful.
I believe we're alike in that way.
I guess we are similar in this matter.
If you are who I think you are, you should give me another chance.
If you are the person I believe you are, I deserve one more chance. You should let me try again.
I don't think we're alike at all, Mr. White.
I believe we are completely different, Mr. White. Now, after listening to the whole story, you summarize it or retell it using your own words and expressions. You can also write it down and ask a ChatGPT to correct your mistakes. Then read it out loud in front of a mirror or even record yourself and watch it back. Actually, there are many ways to make it even more effective. But what I recommend is this. Start small, then make it harder. That's called easy to hard practice, and it's based on the concept of progressive training. The idea is that you start with something easy and then increase the difficulty, forcing yourself to get better. Studies have found this kind of training to be very effective. And here's why this technique is so powerful. First, you're listening to correct English and copying it, so you naturally learn how to build sentences the right way. Second, you pick up idioms, expressions, and natural phrases that people actually use in everyday conversation. Third, and this is the best part, your brain learns grammar automatically. You're not thinking about rules. You're just focused on the message, on understanding and sharing ideas. And this is called subconscious learning. It's the same way you learned your native language. It's the same way babies learn their first language. They don't study grammar books. They just listen, copy, and speak. And slowly, the grammar becomes natural to them. That's exactly what happens when you use this technique. You're learning grammar, but you don't even realize it. And honestly, this is the most natural way to learn. So let me remind you with the 2 steps. Step 1, build the foundation with comprehensible input. Step 2, practice speaking through imitation. That is the real secret to fluent English. I use this way and I became fluent in just 9 months. And if you'd like to know how I exactly did it step by step, watch this video next. See you later. Bye bye.